Shalom. Kohlo Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. So, for the brothers and the few sisters that are in this truth, if you've been in this truth for a while, you pretty much know that we're in the time of the Passover. Passover signifies a lot of things. And you can apply it to, today's time, because there were plagues going on. We was being delivered. There was a lot of death. All of those things you can apply to today. And we bring these lessons to edify our people, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, the Israelites, the true Israelites, according to the Bible, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. But we do this, and we do lessons, to edify our people, and towards when the Lord does return, that's soon to come. You're not going to say that. You're not going to be able to say you didn't know. You're not going to be able to, have a cloak. You're not going to, it's not going to be a cloak. We're soon in the book of John 15:22. The Lord commanded us to do these things. You got, people who know they're Israelites saying we don't have to keep it. We're not in, our resting place. We don't have to. We don't have to keep it. Saying Yahushua was the Passover. We don't have to keep it. But the Lord commanded us to keep it in all our dwelling places, man. The two major high holy days is the Passover and the Day of Atonement. Those two things are like the two major high holy days that we have to keep. And there's a lot going on in the world. Signs of the end is at hand. And you should be in fear, man, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because the Lord is about to open the floodgates of judgment and wrath throughout the four corners of the earth. Let's get because I don't want this to be too long. I'm gonna try to fly through this. This is Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 7. And we're gonna start at 1. Because this is something that we should not play with. And not just, being so which the holy days, the high holy days are very important. You have to keep those. But also analyzing yourself on how you are on your day-to-day when the cameras are off. Brothers has said something that made a lot of sense, and I've always examined myself and things of that sort, to where it's all about how you are in your walk. Doing videos and lessons, that is a part of, what you were commanded to do, but you were also commanded to be better, to renew yourself, be renewed, right? Be holy. Even though there's a lot going on around you, you got demons constantly plaguing you and all, you got to fight, man. This is a part of the cross, that we have to take up, because the Lord said, bear his cross, man. And this is a part of the cross that you have to bear. When you read Sirach 2, it tells you, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, man. So, with all that going on, you still have to be strong enough spiritually to have faith, to believe, to do the work, not just say it, but be about it, right? But this is Ezekiel 7 and verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord, power unto the land of Israel, and the end is come upon the four corners of the land. Because we at the end. Without a shadow of a doubt, we are at the end. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. So 2/3 of our people are going to get cut off, man. They're going to be put to death on this side. It says, my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abomination shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, man. So you're going to know that it's the Lord that's judging you, right? You're going to know that's the Lord that brought these calamities on you, man. It said, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. The end is come. The end is come. It watcheth for thee. Behold, it is come. So this ain't the time to be playing, man. The end is here. It ain't no going back, man. Things are not going to get better. Things are going to get worse. The same way the Lord plagued Egypt, ancient Egypt with plagues, is the same way the Lord has been plaguing Babylon, the great America, and the whole world. But he's about to turn the amps up on it, man. He's about to turn up the volume. And if you want to stay out the way, when that flood come through, then it's best that you get right now, man. Because, this was a time where the Lord passed over, the brothers that believed. Even though when we left Egypt, a lot of our people, they perished in the wilderness, man. Right? Because you had people that still had leaven in them, right? Meaning wickedness, pretty much. They were hypocrites. So it's best you get right, man. Right now. Let me get one more. One more. This is see if this one I want. This is Ecclesiasticus 5 and verse 7. It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. We are in that time of the day of vengeance, man. So don't put off serving the Lord from day to day. Oh, I'll get to it. Just let me do this real quick. I'll be back. I just got something quick to do. I just got to, do this and do that. I got to go here. I got to take care of this, and keep putting it off. And next thing you know, boom, the judgment has fallen on you, man. It caught you, right? So it's best you do not do that. So like I said earlier, we are in the time of the Passover. and a lot happened in the Passover. So we're gonna just run through a couple of scriptures and we're gonna shut it down. So this is Exodus chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at 1. It says, and afterwards Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, power of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness, man. Right? So, that feast, and you know the story of Pharaoh. He didn't want to let us go. So we held the feast. It was in Egypt, but it wasn't good for the Egyptians, man, who are so-called uh Africans, Hamites. So let's get Exodus chapter 12. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and this shall be the first month of the year to you. So the year, the first month this year was around March, I believe, mid-March. I forgot. So lock you for that. Right? So it says, verse 3. Speak unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. Right? Says the lamb is signified of the lamb without blemish, which is Yahushua, man. Right? So that's what we have to take, a lamb. So it says, and if thy household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next to him, to his house, take it according to the number of the soul. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. So if you have a big family, you eat the lamb up. If the lamb was too much, you would give it to your neighbor, which is your brother. Right? So we're gonna jump down. Uh this is we're gonna jump down to 8. It says verse 7, it says, and they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door post of the house wherein they shall eat it. Now, nowadays you buy a lamb out of the store cut up already. You don't know what lamb. You don't know if it's a female lamb or a male lamb. You're supposed to get a male lamb. So the door side post, you don't have to do it unless you go out and you have that blessing of going to get a lamb, a male lamb without blemish or whatever, and you cut it and this and that. Most of us, we don't have that, you know, we don't have it like that, so to speak. It says, and they shall eat the flesh, and that night roasted with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. The bitter herbs, we use horseradish, and the unleavened bread, my rib, she usually cooks, she usually makes it. Salakia, 1 second. Yeah, Salakia. So yeah, we um let's see, where was I? Yeah, so I'm gonna read 9 again. 12 and 9, Exodus 12 and 9, it says, Eat it not, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, meaning don't boil it. It said, but roast with fire, his head and his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. So you're supposed to cook the whole lamb, the whole lamb. We don't have that. We don't have it like that in this captivity. Every brother can't do that. It says, "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it in the morning shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover." So, this wasn't the time where we took our time and laughed and joked, and we was getting up out of there. We was getting up out of there early, like quick, you know. That death angel came through, and which was Yahweh Shah, but right after the firstborn of the Egyptians, were put to death, Pharaoh was like, "Man, go ahead, just get out of here." And when we left with a great multitude, and a lot of things that the Egyptians gave us and stuff like that, right? So it says, verse 12, it says, "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord." So this was a time of great death, mourning, right? Sorrows, right? And that's the time that we coming into, man. This is this is deadly serious, man. It's deadly serious. So let's get Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18. We're gonna start at Wisdom of Solomon 18. I'm gonna start at 11. It says, "The master and the servant were punished after one manner, and like as the king, so suffered the common person." This was the time during the time of the Egyptians. It says, "So they altogether had innumerable dead with one kind of death. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them. For in one moment, the noblest offspring of them was destroyed." Man, that's the firstborn, right? It says, "For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of the Most High," man, right? So, during that time, you had the Egyptians, they finally believed. It was like, man, they was telling Pharaoh, "You can't do nothing with his God, man. His God is real," right? Verse 14, it says, "For while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, thine almighty word leaped down from heaven out of thy royal house, or out of thy royal throne, as a fierce man of war unto the midst of the land of destruction, and brought thine unfeigned commandments as a sharp sword, and standing up filled all things with death, and it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth," man. And that was that death angel. That was that death angel, man. Right? And the firstborn of every of the Egyptians, the cattle, the firstborn of the cattle, all that stuff was just destroyed, man. Put to death. So the Lord ain't playing, man. The Lord ain't playing. So let's get we'll get a couple more. We're gonna shut down. This is Exodus chapter 30. Let me see if this is what I want. Cool. Exodus 34 and verse 25. And it reads, well, I'm gonna start at verse 24. Exodus 34 and 24 said, "For I will cast out the nations before thee and enlarge thy borders. Neither shall any man desire thy land when thou shalt go up to appear before the Lord thy power thrice in the year. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven. So you ain't supposed to eat bread with leaven in it. And it's a list of other ingredients that should not be in anything you eat for 7 days. You know, um, I'll see if I can put it up. So brothers can have it. Sisters can have it. Um, it says, "Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left until the morning." So you're supposed to eat all that lamb that night. All the lamb, whatever lamb you got, eat it that night. None is supposed you're not supposed to save none for the next day. Oh, I'm gonna eat leftovers and all of that. Nah, ain't none of that. Ain't none of that, right? So it was a certain way that you have to do things, man. Because with the Lord, everything is order. With the Lord, man. Do what I tell you. Don't change it up, man. Right? Whatever I say you supposed to keep, you keep it. Numbers 9 verses 2. It says, "Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover in its appointed season. In the 14th day of this month at even, ye shall keep it in the appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all ceremonies thereof, shall ye keep it." And Moses spake to the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover in the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So did the children of Israel. And there were certain men who were defiled by dead bodies of men. Oh, so that's going into pretty much something else. If you touch a dead body or if there's a death, things of that sort. It says that they should not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day. Those men said unto them, "We are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in its appointed season among the children of Israel?" And Moses said unto them, "Stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you." And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the children of Israel, saying, "If any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in the journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord the 14th day of the second month at even, they shall keep it." So the Lord gives you another time to do it, right? If you don't keep it this time, you got another time to keep it, right? That's how merciful the Lord is to his people, right? So let me see, Numbers 28. All right. Let me get one more. We're gonna shut it down. This is Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 1. It said, "Observe the month of Abib, which is the first is the new year, the first month of the year, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy power. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy power of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there." Right? "Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. Thou that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life." So if I'm not able to give you the list. You know, brothers and sisters, they when they go to the supermarket, there's a lot of things with leaven in it. You know, just to throw some off the top of the head, baking soda, baking powder, vinegar, nothing with those things in it. You're not supposed to eat anything with those things in it, right? Then you got sodium bicarbonate, right? Certain things like that, you know, says verse 4. And there shall no leaven bread, there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coast 7 days, neither shall there be anything of the flesh which thou sacrificest on the first day of even remain all night until the morning. So the Lord is reiterating it, man. You're supposed to eat up all the lamb. You're not supposed to eat nothing with leaven in it, right? Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee, but at the place which the Lord thy power shall choose to place his name there, where thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. Now, they would hear that, certain brothers, they hear that. See, we only can keep it in the land. We only can keep it when we in our kingdom. No. Israelites are scattered. Wherever Israel is, that's where the Lord is, man. You know, when you read Joel 2, it says, you know, uh, let's get it. Matter of fact, let's get the one in Luke. We're gonna shut it down. Because Israelites are everywhere, man. No, matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the one in Joel. Let's get Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2, verse 27. It says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. Right? So the Lord is in the midst of us wherever we are, man. The elect is everywhere, throughout the four corners of the earth. So the elect is going to keep the Passover, right? Lord willing, we are of that number, right? Somebody's of the elect that's on the earth. The elect is on the earth. We just pray that we are of that number. It says, Joel 2 and 27, we're going to shut it down. It says, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed. So, you know, we're going to keep the Passover, man. Regardless of whatever brothers can stir up in their heads about, justifying not keeping it or whatever, we're going to keep it, man. So, that's it, brothers, sisters. Keep the Passover to the best of your ability, because we at the time of the end, and this ain't the time to get wishy-washy and be lukewarm, man. So I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Kadash, for blessing me with the spirit to do this lesson. And until the next lesson, Shalom. We almost out of here, man. Beautiful times we living in. Shalom.